In this video, we're talking about surviving your first 90 days as a new manager. Get your coffee and let's get into it. Welcome to my channel, Leadership with Mike. On this channel, I help managers become leaders, and I do that with no nonsense sense, if that makes any sense. Okay, big boss, we need a plan. Specifically, a 90-day plan. Now, I've got some other videos that you may want to check out talking about what to do on day one, on week one, on month one. But this is our big picture. And I'm going to break it down into 3 sections. First 30, next 30, and your last 30 days. So in your first 30 days, I need you to do your homework. I need you refreshing your mind as to what a leader, what a manager needs to be doing. You need to be picking up books. You need to be watching every video on this channel. You need to be following some other leadership channels. You need to do as much refresh as possible. Yes, maybe you came from another job where you were a manager. That doesn't mean you don't want to just come with fresh ideas from a book you may have already read, but the fresh ideas, just re-triggering what it means to be a good leader and a good manager. You're also going to want to try and pick up any kind of information on the company, any reading materials, policies. Go on their website just to get an idea what this company is about and how you think maybe you can fit in and make it better. This first 30 days is a great opportunity for you to come in, quiet as a mouse, and just learn what the culture is. You are not here on the first 30 to make any changes, and I repeat, do not focus on any changes, especially big ones. Sit back, slow down. What's the culture like? Who's who in this establishment? You may have even been hired to change the culture. That doesn't mean you start on day one or in the first 30. Get to know what the culture is. Try to find out what the problem is or who it is. Use this time. Just lay low. Keep your ear to the ground. Play it cool. Ice. Jeez. Again, this is an opportunity to listen and to learn. Chat with people. Talk about their work, their responsibilities, their hobbies. Just get as much data points as you can. And you're going to do this by listening and trying to learn as much as you can. Jumping into the next 30. For those who are counting, this would be the 60 days. This is where we're going to find out who's who. Like, who's really running shit around this place? Get to know the employees. What are they good at? Maybe ask people to share a breakdown of their week. Now make sure they know it's not to belittle them. It's not to look for redundancies. You just want to know who works on what on any given day. And make sure you ask this, is there stuff that they're doing that they feel has 0 reasons to be on their list? Is it something that you could look at and maybe take off of their plate? This is the time to do it. This is the time to get to know. Allow people to explain, not justify, what their job is. This is also the time where you're going to want to have one-on-ones. Again, get to know people, get to know their strengths. Ask if there's something that you can do to help. You're not trying to flush out weaknesses per se, but as their manager, you want to know when it is that you should be coming in to help them, or at least letting them know that you're willing to do so. Because oddly enough, not every manager is like that. Not every manager wants to actually help their team succeed. They just want to bury their head in their book in their office and collect a paycheck. Not you, my friend. Ooh, not you. In this first 60 days, you want to start building your team. Now, what I mean by that is start finding allies. Listen, you're new. You're an easy target to get the wool pulled over your eyes, so to speak. I'm not saying that everybody's going to try and take advantage of you, but there's going to be somebody. And there's also going to be things that obviously you don't know. I highly recommend you talk to other leaders in the organization. Is there any that really you connect with? Ask them if they can mentor you, at least while you get your feet wet. Just to kind of ask, is this normal? Is this standard procedure? Is this what the protocol is? What do you think about that? Just to have a sounding board and somebody kind of in your corner. Again, the world, the employees, they're not necessarily stacked up against you, but they might not be rooting for you either. Another thing that you're going to want to do in your first 60, start making a plan for how you are going to move forward. There's a thing called doing a SWOT analysis. Now, it has nothing to do with guns and helmets. What it is, it's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So, strengths. What is it that you can see right now that your team excels at? Like, what are they knocking out of the park? This is good information just to have, like, we are on point here. On the flip side, what are the weaknesses? What are the weaknesses on your team? What are the weaknesses in the organization, in your department, whatever it might be? Just keep an eye out. Then you've got opportunities. Is there an opportunity that you can see that's not being exploited? This is an easy win. If you can find the opportunity, this puts you in the face of everybody. And you may say, but I don't want to be noticed. Yes, you do want to be noticed. You do want to stand out for the right reasons. It's not to be loud and look at me. It's to say, you made a good call hiring this person. Who did that? Who hired? You know what I mean? Like, you want to look good. And the best way to do that is to find opportunities. And because typically you're going to be an outsider, or you've been an employee who's been promoted, you kind of have a fresh set of eyes. So opportunities might be easier for you to find, and it's going to be easier for your boss to back you because they want you to succeed because they're going to succeed. And fresh eyes only come around when new people are brought in. And at this moment, that's you. And finally, threats. What's the competition doing? This kind of ties into what your weaknesses are, but it's like, what are we not doing? What is my team not doing? What is my department not doing that the competition is? Again, you want to have a broad picture of what we're doing. What are we working with? Now, let's get into your last 30 days. Here is where you're going to start setting goals for yourself and for your team. When we were doing the SWOT and you were looking for opportunities, now is the time to try to exploit those opportunities. And how we're going to do it? We're going to assign them SMART goals. What's all this SMART talk? Glad you asked. SMART is specific, measurable, relevant, actionable, and timing. So specific. Does this opportunity have a means and an end? Measurable. Can it be measured? Is there data points that you can pull out to see that your team is succeeding? Actionable. What specifically needs to be done in order to be successful and to win this opportunity? Relevant. Is this a good fit for your team? Is this something that your department, your people can do? Or is it something that another department needs to look at or somebody higher up in the company needs to approve? And finally, time. How long does this need to take? Is this something that you can work on for a month and then that's going to be successful? Does it have to wait for another department to submit something in order for your time to come? Again, these are all things that you need to consider before biting off more than you can chew. And a insider tip, when you're setting these SMART goals, make sure you're including your team. By including your team, one, you're not coming up with everything by yourself. You are getting your team involved. And usually when the team is involved, it's easier to get buy-in because, well, it was their idea. Another thing you're going to want to do in your last 30 days of your 90-day plan, relax. So you've just set these goals or this goal, whatever it might be. It does not mean that you have this new responsibility. It means your team has it, which means you're there to delegate. You want to facilitate how things are getting done, not necessarily doing it. That said, if you see your team struggling, roll up the sleeves and get your hands dirty. You're there to help. You're there to guide. You're there to mentor. You're not there to watch them sink because that's going to be sinking your career as well. Another thing that you need to be open to in this last 30 days is feedback. Because there's two things that really, when you break management down, there's two things that you are being judged on. One, are you hitting your target? And two, how are the employees? I'm not saying that everybody has to be, oh, this is fantastic. This is, what? I've been watching too much TikTok. Not everybody has to be enjoying it, but your management team, your boss wants to know that you are meshing with your team. So keep that in mind and be open to feedback, whether it be from your individual team members, from the mentor that you selected 30 days ago, from your boss. Just be open to receiving feedback, both good and bad. Now, let me just say this. In your first 90 days, I guarantee you're going to have bad days. You're going to feel like, why in the heck did I take this job? And here's the thing, that's absolutely normal. Don't beat yourself up over it. Everybody goes through these growing pains. Here's the thing, if you've been paying attention and you've been taking notes, you have a plan for your first 90 days. You are leaps and bounds ahead of most people. Most managers will come in and try to figure it out as they go. You've documented. You've made a plan. You've watched this video a couple times, so you have an idea as to what you should be doing when. And I guarantee you that will help immensely. Remember, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And because we're not a bunch of failures here, I'm going to grab my coffee and I'm going to see you in the next video.